Well, hello there. I pray that your weekend has been a refreshing one. I know mine has. I got me some good rest today. I wanted to start out by saying thank you for following us on our 2018 prep, because we're in the season of manifested exploits. And of course, I'm talking about changing and strengthening of the guards. So if this is your first time listening to me, please join us on tomorrow. And if you want to go back, go to sessions, the number 2, and real, sessions, the number 2, real. And you can check out the other speakers that have been part of our telesymposium in regards to changing and strengthening of the guards. Definitely want to hear now Dr. Tabitha Whitten, who gave a wonderful message as well, making sure you understand that capacity, it is going to cost you. And you definitely want to go back and prepare, that is, to hear Apostle R. Joshua Mitchell, who's going to be with us tomorrow night at 9 o'clock p.m. Central. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there really fast and make sure that you be sure and share these links as led, because maybe you're not led, but I believe in this last day we're going to have to hear God and be willing to understand that we are in a transition. And this transition means that we're going to have to prepare the leaders, what the Lord spoke to me. We're going to have to equip them. We're going to have to endorse those gifts, not be afraid to endorse them because you feel that they're going to leave you. But the gifts are for the body. And if you prepare them, then they can, help you equip and go to this next apostolic reformation that is so needed, so that we can, develop disciples, of course, and have transformational leadership. And so apostolic reformation is now, right now. We need to be in that zone. As I'm talking about Revelation 3, 1 through 5, I kind of talked about that. We need to be watchful. We need to make sure that we begin to look at what we are doing, where we are, as far as what God is requiring of us to strengthen those things that remain. We need to have apostolic and prophetic competency. We need more prophetic accuracy. We have a lot of people speaking prophetic words that they say are prophetic, and they are not from God. They are flesh-driven. And so it's very important that we prepare, that God wants to speak to us. Now, when I was on that 3-day fast, it was very, very empowering and very strengthening for me to shut in and hear God about many things. And one of the things I'm going to talk about in this particular C, as you can see, the title of this particular prelude is commonality. That's the C for this particular prelude lesson. As a 5 C's, this is C number 2, and it is commonality. We're talking about sheep versus leadership. Very important for us to talk about because this has really been a deficiency. This has really been a hindrance. This has really been a spiritual blocker. It's really been one that has destroyed many ministries and leadership relationships because they're disjointed because of commonality. So anyway, I'll get into that in just a few moments, but I do want to share about what the Lord gave me during the 3 days so that you can prepare and hear him in regards to what he said to me. And so you can write this down as I'm going. He said that this is a critical time. I wrote it down, so I'm going to read it to you. He said that this is a critical time. And this is on November the 3rd when I did my shut-in. And I think this was either the first day. I think this was the first day of the shut-in. And he said this is a time, a critical time for many. He said that I am working my things for my glory, those who love and obey me. He said, rest in knowing my ways and go with my ways. Some things will appear that all has dried up, but I am opening fresh manna doors that no man will glory with. He said, quiet time is so needed for this next dimension of my glory. My connections with those doors are going to be divine. They will swing open for those who sit at my feet and worship me and listen to me. He said, I am jealous of all the workers of my gifts. That really, really touched me when he said that. I am jealous of all the workers of my gifts. Keep that word in your heart, workers. Of all the workers of my gifts, I need more worship and time with them. My Lord. He went on to say, you have chosen the right time to obey, since much is going on to shake the earth and with my wrath. My Lord, do not get afraid. Only pray, watch, and listen at my feet. And that closes out the message for that particular message to the body. The rest of it is all personal to me. But anyway, I wanted to share that message was so touching because he led me to go to Psalm 89. And when I began to read it, of course, that message is very, very delicate because it's really, really talking about the authenticity of what God really wants us to understand of his excellency, his majesty, of how important it is that he is going to be worshipped. And these two scriptures stood out to me, while many really hit me, was verse 6 and 7. It says, for who is in the heaven can be compared to the Lord? Who among the sons of the mighty can be likened to the Lord? And verse 7 was the one that really, really made me take a big swallow. God is greatly to be feared in the assembly of the saints, and to be had in reverence of all them that are about him. My Lord. And as I began to meditate on that, I thought about, we can be really, really busy doing a whole bunch of works and doing a whole bunch of things that God is not even in it. A lot of times when he give us vision, and sometimes we get too busy doing things that he is not wanting us to do, maybe right now. Maybe he wants us to be there at his feet so he can give us a little bit more revelation about what he is saying for us to do, or for us to consider about where he is taking us. And so I just want to make sure that we pay attention to those and understand how God is trying to speak to us in regards to what I talked about on our last prelude, and, kind of touching about those areas that we need to be careful about, because many of us are in position and places that have caused us to be delayed. Many of us are, doing a lot of fleshly things that God is trying to get us to see, okay, enough of that. Don't keep saying that I told you to do that, or I've given you a vision that I'm not even in this vision. It's something that you feel that's going to be super spiritual. It's going to bring some attention to you. Divine placement is really important and critical right now. You got to hear me. We need to make sure that we're connected to the right vine. We need to make sure that we are obedient to that vine that we're connected to. We need to make sure that if we are there, we need to check our hearts to see what is the agenda of why we're there. Is this God, or is it something that you figure that's going to get you where you need to be, rather than being in God's divine placement time so that he can align you for the destiny? Amen. And so here we are. I want to talk about commonality. Remember I talked about, really we have a lot of lost people in the church. I talked about how we need to move from this condition of, we want to offer love, but many of the people are lost. We're in this lost state where we are part of a body that is showing love, and then we have some that is not showing love. But where those that are showing love, we do have a false sense of this type of gift or of love that we're trying to demonstrate. But many of us, we don't demonstrate the love and authenticity, because many of the people that need to be corrected, many of the people that need to be transitioned from one particular part that they may be in your ministry or doing something that they need to grow up in. So we have this false love. It is not a positive gift. We're giving this false love, and in a sense, because we have caused many of the people to feel loved when they really are lost. When these people, many of them, they want to be corrected. They want to be called out on the carpet. Many times we call people out on the carpet when they need to be talked to privately. Some things God is giving people to us to be able to get them to the place so they can understand that I love you enough to tell you the truth. And that's what I want to talk about now. Many of us giving this false type of love when it's really allowing the people to be loved but lost. I don't want to preach. It's sick of it. My God. Love but lost. And when you have someone that God has put to your hand, we got to watch, what are we doing? What are we saying? What am I doing to cause this lay person, or if you want to call them sheep, but I'm the leader. God has put them to my hand, whether you're just a mentor, whether you're a pastor, whatever it is titled for the fivefold. We got to realize the commonality, the spirit of commonality, the spirit of being common, too common with those people who God has allowed to come close to us or be a part of the ministry of, especially those who serve. We got to make sure. Now, let's look at commonality. What does commonality mean, Dr. Murphy? Where it's the sharing of features or the sharing of characteristics, things that you have in common, even possessions. Some of these things, these manifested attributes in the spirit realm, many of them get out of sync, and that is because people have become too lax, too common, to the point that they feel like, really that they're equal. That's the best word I can use. Or that, in other words, we're in the same joint as a body. So you're an apostle, I'm an apostle, you're a pastor, I'm a pastor, or I have a fivefold gift, so you ain't no better than me. We have a mentality where we've got to watch, where we allow people to get that close to us, and we sacrifice that call that God has put on our lives just so we can either have someone near or have someone to be close to. Because, of course, ministry is a lonely place, It's going to cost you some separation. And I always tell people a lot of times, I'm not trying to act to introvert, that I know that I am somewhat introvert. I'm not trying to act introvert to the point that I don't want to be around people. But if I know that God has put you in my life for whatever reason, I need you to get back a little bit, because I got to be able to see you. I got to be able to see in the spirit. I got to be able to see what God is speaking to me concerning your heart, concerning your ways, concerning why you are here. And we too often want to have people close to us, because you're lonely, or you like the way they make you laugh, or you're spending time with them, or what have you. And all that is fine. I mean, none of us are exempt from hell, period. I want to make sure I keep that straight. None of us are super spiritual that we 100 in anything. But I want to make sure that we know that we all are frail and be reminded of that. That you're nothing and you can't do nothing without our daddy God. We're just simply frail, period. And so we got to be before God 24/7. I think that word that he gave was very timely for the time that we're in right now, being so busy about kingdom work, that we think that this time that we give him these crumbs, coming before him and saying, I love you and I worship you. But yet, one of the words that he spoke out to me during that time, he said, I want adoration. Sunday. Here I go with Sunday again. But whatever that is, I need adoration. That goes to a whole other dimension of the love and the time that we're spending with him. I need adoration. You go and you meditate on that. The adoration that we're deficient in. Just letting him know, I just love you because you're just God alone, all by yourself. My God. And as you begin to adore him, as you begin to remind him that you love him just for being God, not for what you're asking him about, what you're depending on him for, but just because I love you. These are the things that we got to recognize. If we love him that much, then we won't allow people to shape us to be in this commonplace. We won't allow people to put us or hold us in this commonplace, because it's just like dark and light. You cannot find yourself being a place that you're willing to sacrifice the oil of the anointing just to be able to say that you are in this relationship with someone, or that this person is there with you, and that they're there and they care about you, that you are willing to sacrifice that. And so we got to know that there is a spirit. We know spirits are everywhere. There's all kinds. But this is one that is destroying the very fiber of leadership and causing a lot of breaches with relationships that it doesn't have to be. Because you, as a leader, especially one that is a prophetic people and seers, you should be able to see in the spirit. You should be able to see in the spirit as true apostles who shoot straight with the eye of the eagle should be able to see the heart of the person before they even begin to connect with you, especially when they say they're coming to you to be led by you or mentored by you. You should see where God has taken them or what's in them that need to come out before they even get to where they are going. Lord, help us all today. And so what I really want to say about commonality, one of the things we got to understand, that this particular condition that we're in, where people are loved but lost, is because they become so common. This state of this love-lost type of mentality has caused us as leaders to allow the lay or the sheep to become too intimate, become too knowledgeable of things concerning our ministry, concerning our business, concerning our environments, concerning our family, concerning association, relationships, things like that. Some stuff, you just can't be so close and commune intimately with the relationship. And I know it sounds hard. I know it sounds like you're too segregated. But how are people going to really, really learn from you when they're up close and personal? When they got too much going on close to you. I'm trying to look at the scripture here that the Lord was ministering to me about. Let me see if I can find it here. I don't see it. But anyway, I'll look in a minute. But I just want to share. I hope I can come back with it. I certainly hope I do. But everybody know that when they say obey them, they have rule over you. Just go look that up. I can't see it right now. But obey them to have rule over you. And see, we don't want to obey them. We want to be common. We want to consider them as our camaraderie. We want to consider them as our girl, our bro, our besties. Too many first ladies get hit because you want to call them your bestie. Oh, this is my girl. This is my lady. This is my e-girl. The devil is crazy. They're not going to be that. That's like my daughter coming in here telling me, oh, hey, girl, I don't even have to look at her. Because she better not try that. Because I'm your mother. I'm not your girl. So there's a level of commonality that we have to look at the fine line of this thing. Because this commonality has caused many of people to have this deadly type of destroying type of mentality that they figure because of what I know, I can destroy you or pull this church down. And many leadership today have compromised and become complacent with those issues that I talked about on last week in complacency because of the relationship, this friendship, this type of thing that you have allowed this person or this lay person to come into your space or to come into your ministry or your family. We don't leave that out because they want to come out into your house and get all relaxed and common with your family and get to know them. And I've heard some horror stories where they come in to see things in your bedroom and learn things of your pastor or your first lady and find things and find things that you've done so they can hold it over you and go, oh, I didn't know you roll like that, ignorant lady, so that they can have that over you so they can tell somebody else. And so you know they all tell everybody they saw this in your bedroom and your bathroom and, looking at prescriptions that God may have given you for whatever, and then they may lie and tell me there's some kind of bipolar medicine. I know I'm talking to somebody, and it ain't even that. Lord, I know I'm talking. So anyway, we got to look at, this same level mentality. This same type of commonality that's caused a person to feel like they're your buddy. That they can do anything. They know you. I've been knowing them a long time. That's the first thing they want to say is I've been knowing them a long time. We like family. Well, that's true. You may have. But once you have become, in the position of being a mentor to mentee or pastor to sheep, that'll change. So now you got to recognize that you're going to have to make sure that you submit, the word that we don't like, that you submit because now God has given me authority in the spirit to rule. And when that word rule means to govern, to watch over, to be responsible for your soul. I know I'm talking to somebody. See, we don't want to hear that, because we think, well, I know word, I know how to pray. But when you start looking at putting a pastor down or a mentor or a leader down and, and thinking that whatever you know about them is going to decrease them because of what you might know. These things has caused what you think is like a common denominator in your own mind, in your eyesight. So you think you could try to force your way to climb up or force your way because, you know them or you've been knowing them for years, and now because they're on another level of, spirituality, you figure it's still going to be equal. It's still going to be buddy. It's still going to be bestie. The devil is crazy. No, it's not going to be that anymore. I don't want to preach. I'm trying to calm it down. And so you got to understand that when someone begins to receive, these type of thoughts in their minds that they can be equal, they can be, kind of common with you, you can rest assured that they would never, you better hear me, they would never authentically, purely have a proper relationship in the spirit with you, because they are only going to see you as the same or on the same level or a peer. They will never, ever properly recognize you as their spiritual leader or mentor. And so you got to make sure that you know that this type of personality, this type of mentality has to be dealt with really quickly, because many of the people will begin to act like that story in Matthew. It was in Matthew chapter 13, where, let me read that one. It says, go to Matthew chapter 13, verses 53 to 58, that says, and it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he was come into his country, he taught them in the synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished, and said, whence had this man this wisdom and these mighty works? Is not this the carpenter's son? See, they knew him as just this little carpenter. Is not his mother called Mary? Like, Mary ain't nobody. So, and his brethren James and Jose or Jose and Simon and Judas and his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then had this man all these things? And they were offended in him. But why? Because he was doing stuff to be like, well, who you think you are? You just like us. You over here with us. I know your mama. But Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country, in his own house. And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief. And what's worse about this is because of the commonality statements. Isn't this just Mary's boy? Well, what is that? So we got to look at some of the signs and some of the things to understand about when people get too common. We got to know that we got to watch for their souls. It's very important that we watch for their souls. We need to love them. We need to make sure that we don't love them and keep them lost because we allow them to become common. See, what a person needs to understand is that when a pastor or a leader or a person is mentoring you, telling you what is right in the eyes of God, they're held accountable for whatever they're telling you. So if it ain't godly, you leave it up to God. But you need to be praying for that leader and not try to usurp the authority out of commonality. And so, but what is happening is they are there to watch for your soul. They have no selfish type of aim or goal. We like to think they don't. Because they know that Jesus is Lord and God is going to deal with them. The thing is that we have to understand that there is measures of adoption. And so that means the obedience that's required from that person who is in the ministry or lay or pastor or leader, regardless. Iron sharpens iron, but we all should have a level of respect and loyalty for one another. Why? Because God is showing them that they're going to have to give account. So you will give account for whatever you're not doing in regards to this commonality. You're not supposed to be there trying to put yourself on the same level, trying to hold these secret things from the pastor that are holding these things over their head is a better way to put it. And the scripture also talks about this is going to cause grief in the spirit. if they don't do it with love, if they don't do it with the spirit of joy, meekness. And so if they don't do that and you don't obey what God is showing them to tell you and you feel like it's too hard, sometimes God has to expose things in a wrathful voice. It may be loving, but it may be wrathful, coming from the Spirit of the Lord, letting you know that these things are not going to be profitable for you if you continue in this fashion. You're going to have to give account for the way you handle those that God has put in your life. He's going to remind you of that, or you will see that again. You will eat the fruit of that matter. And so you can recognize these things. I want to look at my notes here really quick about some things we got to look at. Many of us are allowing this commonality to be there because you have a special need. I think I talked about that. But you got to check to see what is your motive about those that you've allowed to come close to you and to be common with you. The second thing you got to look at is, are you dealing with the disloyalty or the disrespect? Because if you're not dealing with that, then you're only producing this type of commonality to grow within the body and causing a spiritual infection. And so are you dealing with this disloyalty? Are you realizing that it's going to send a spirit of control, not only within the ministry when you ask them to do something they feel like that they can do it when they want and how they want, but it's going to cause your ministry to have the spirit of control and manipulation and deception. And the third thing you want to look at is this thing that you may not have dealt with because of the commonality, are you really appointing people that you have even known for a while, or are you appointing the right ones just because you've known them to be able to entrust them to a specific thing? Maybe they had to come to your house to cut your yard or whatever, or deal with you because you may not be feeling well. These things got to be looked at, especially those who are armor bearers and people that are close to us. You cannot allow these people. The Lord always showed me things in dreams concerning people that are close to me. He just showed me a couple people last night. One of the things I like to do is pray for people who I know I can see something in that He's showing me about them. And I said, Lord, just help them. Help them to see that I just want to love them. And I pray for them. I said, now, Daddy, show me what I need to do concerning them. And so I pray. And those who really care about people, they will pray for them. They won't try to go and be hard with them. But when God gives that word that they have to love the hell out of them, it is God giving that word in private. But when He's trying to give it to that person through this silent, quiet way, when a person's trying to give that in love so they won't stay lost, then they won't receive it, then now God got to expose them publicly. And so then the fourth thing is we got to look at, are we truly marking these people? Some of these people who are in our ministries, you can see that they're very divisive, they're very, very rebellious, won't leave that out. Many of them are practicing witchcraft right in your face. And so but God is depending on you, you hear me, to discipline these types of personalities, that you got to take action. You got to make sure you separate. You got to demand separation. You got to demand a change of the guard. You're going to have to equip people that you know that you can entrust these type of positions to, or these types of areas in your ministry that they can be more loyal and not common with you. But when we don't do that, God is trying to give you an opportunity to see some of the things that could easily derail you. And so I want to share some of those right now. One of the things is that you got to make sure that this person has not crossed the boundary and talking to others concerning things that you have entrusted to them, maybe as a confidant thing, or maybe you was asking to pray about a situation. And then now, they've crossed the boundaries and sharing stuff that they should not share. That's one thing you need to look at, And then how jealous are they? Some people cannot even see that the people are really, really prideful and they're really jealous of the ministry and the call and the anointing on your life. And many of them, God is trying to warn you. Many of them, they may be close to you. They may have known you. They may even help you build that church. They may even help you, gave you the money for it. But many of them who God has shown you, they're not supposed to be up close like that, a friend with you. Because many of them, all it takes is one disagreement for them to begin to try to slander you, to try to come against what God has called you to do, and then before you know it, they have this subtle seduction. They're trying to come against you, trying to betray you, trying to give negative criticism, trying to talk to other leaders about, oh, I don't know, I don't have nothing to say about them. Oh, no, you over there. They're there to try to dethrone what God has put you, and they can't do it, but they're going to try. Their hearts are shaped to take you out of position because they don't agree with you, not maybe giving them an advancement in maybe a position or something they try to self-advance themselves and stuff that they know that you was not going to even consider them in. So now they're trying to self-advance themselves because they know you, or saying that they're your assistant or they're close to you just to get to do what they want to do and not obey the one that you have put in that entrusted position. I know I'm talking about. And so we got to have a discerning of spirit like all get out in this last day. Holy Spirit will always show you the faithful and the true. Holy Spirit will show you these Absalom spirits, these Jezebel spirits. Holy Spirit will reveal those to you. He will show you these spirits that are there to be manipulative and cunning and equal. We won't leave that out. But many of the people, and I won't ever quit saying this, many of us today, and since I've been there, where we are driven by need. And you got to make sure that you don't allow need to drive you to the place that you refuse to correct or disconnect or change or reposition a person so that you won't have a spiritual infection because you don't want to put the people out of a way or out of position because you have this need to be carried out. That's pretty bad, though. You got to look at what are you doing. This is not good because authentic role modeling, what it does, it makes you think about that soul-robbing person who is there to make sure that they have people go their way, to look at things through their eyes concerning you, always on the slick. They have a tendency to say, well, I hope you know you got to watch them, or I hope you know they're not there where they need to be yet, as though they have arrived. Oh, I know I am talking to somebody. And so what God does, the very thing that we are saying, the very thing that we think that we ain't that, the very thing that you said, you're already that. Because you're going to eat that. And so this is why it's very, very important for us not to talk as though we have arrived, but that, it can't happen to us. It's a bad, bad thing when we do that. And I love Galatians chapter 6. I always reference that because people got to remember that. Let me go overturn there real quick. My bell about to ring. But, I'm really moved by this because I found this to be one thing that's really, really, really bad today. And I found those who are very difficult sometimes to get out of the church. That's a whole other lesson. You have to go on my YouTube channel and look at that one about when to dismiss someone from a congregation or ministry, when they start getting too out of hand. You just go and read Titus chapter 3 and look at verse, start at verse 6 all the way through. And it'll give you some light of hope about what you need to be doing concerning these people who want to be, always a heretic or want to reject what God is trying to send through the leader. But I'm trying to get to Galatians chapter 6 really fast so we can look at that really good and take a moment to think on this. So it says, brethren, when a man is overtaken in a fault, that means something wrong, okay? No, because there are so many today got titles and think they're all right and no left. In a fault, yet which are spiritual, restore such, my bell go, y'all, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Now here it is, bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Verse 3, for if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. Verse 4, but let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoiced in himself alone, and not in another. For every man, verse 5, shall bear his own burden. See, in verse 7 it says, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall the Spirit reap life everlasting. You know, we got to know that God is, his word remains true. It's not going to return void. This is why we need to be in a repentant mode constantly about things that so easily beset us, about what we say, about what we do. You know, we need to avoid these people that we promote just because we think we have this need. You know, until this person's true character has been proven. You know, you got to avoid this. That's why I'm talking about changing of the guards. Many of them are out of position. This is why we can't get into apostolic reformation. You know, we can't transition because you got people in the wrong position. People at wrong churches even now. You know, you got to, I'm not trying to get you out of place, but you got to know you're not going to flourish until you get into the right place. You can't flourish until you are in the right position, until you are put into the right vine that can birth you out. That can keep you straight concerning where you are now versus where you think you are. You know, because many times we are somewhere and we're thinking we're somewhere else, and God ain't even got you there. It's just what you want out of this fleshly works. So we got to avoid promoting. We got to avoid being common. We got to avoid, you know, being driven by need. We need to leave the vengeance to the Lord. You know, don't try to be vengeful with people when you know now they're out there stealing all of your privacy because you brought them into these common places. You know, so now you got to deal with that. You got to pray for them that the Lord don't utterly destroy or consume them from touching the anointing with their mouth, the anointed one with their mouths. Because in this last day, he's not playing with people who want to keep on putting their mouths on people. And they wonder why they're sick. They wonder why everything is being dried up. They wonder why they're not managing, not making it. You know, and things are going on in their house and their marriage and things like that. I just read you the scripture. You're going to read it. Lord, help us out. So anyway, so leave the vengeance to the Lord. So if a person has come into your midst that want to be common, if a person has come into your midst, want to act like Jezebel, want to act like the Absalom spirit, and they are unwilling to repent. They're unwilling to seek deliverance. They're unwilling to get sound counsel. You got to know it is their pride that's going to bring them down. So once God has revealed this to you, you hear me. He just said, many of us, I gave you that, we're so busy about doing work so we can't hear him about this next thing that's about to happen. That's going to be so catastrophic. I hope you heard this message. Go back and listen to it at the beginning. What he said. We got to be at his feet to get the directions and the ways and the plans that he wants us to know concerning these matters. So once these have been exposed, they've got to be shut down. They got to be dealt with. They got to seek the counsel. And if necessary, they may have to leave your ministry or your church. Well, I already gave you enough signs for you to know many of those are dealing with a lot of issues that they become too common. They're in this dysfunctional position. This is why you're going to have to get them to move, because things are going to happen only when they want them to happen, because they're equal to you. Well, they're concerned. They're equal. That's why they're going to do it. When they get ready, they're always late. You know, they're always complaining. You know, they don't even have appreciation. They lack appreciation. You know, they prefer this kind of show me spirit. They want to see everything in order for them to believe it. Lord, help us all. You know, you got to know that many signs and wonders are not happening in the atmosphere because of this kind of spirit. Because they figure you ought to prove it to me because I know you. I know your house. I know your family. I know where you've been. I know what you're still weak in. I know I'm talking to somebody. So they lack appreciation, you know, because they got all these things concerning you. And they lack expectation. They lack like the scripture I just read to you in Matthew. They can't get no signs and wonders to happen because they figure I know what's going on in your house. I know y'all arguing, you and your husband. I know what's going on with the pastor on Thursday. I know what the bank account is. I know we're about to lose the church. I know I'm talking to somebody. I already know what your son, your daughter doing. I already know what's going on in your house. That's sitting big. They lack expectation. There's no exploits, no manifested glory can happen because they ain't not through them or not from them. They sit there looking like, let's go on to the next program, you know, because they already know you just performing because they got something on you. They know about, you know, what's going on in your life because they became too common. And so you got to recognize this attitude of looking down on you. There's so many different things that's going to come because you allow them to get that close. They become competitive. They have a power struggle. I've already said that. You know, and they procrastinate. Like I said, they procrastinate. And anything you've given them to do, they get slothful about it. They find excuses. You know, and they have a very, very hard time responding to any authority that you give them, especially if you send it through somebody else to tell them something. They act like, is that what she said? I got this. You know, because they figure, and the people looking like, you act like that with Pastor First Lady asked you to do? That's because they don't want nobody to tell them nothing. They feel offended because you're supposed to be my friend. Just sit there kind of mess with me that I need to do this here and I need to have it done by this time. I do it when I get ready. You know I'm going to get it done, so just wait. The devil is crazy. And so this is a very dangerous spirit. Coming out is very dangerous because it goes through these steps of progression. That they want to send this attitude, send this type of bro or sister or bestie mentality within the ministry or within the mentorship or leadership. You got to know this spirit swings both ways. And so it becomes to the point where no signs, no wonders, no manifest of glory, no miracles, nothing can really go through because this person says, out of their spirit, no big deal, I know them. And because they figure I know them, like I said, according to Matthew, or the 13:55, they said, is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary and his brother James? Okay. Is not that just Sandy? The Sandy I know who's going to the club all the time? Oh, I know her. The Sandy used to smoke dope and chase men? Oh, I know her. Oh, I used to sleep with her. Oh, I know her. I think I told you about the guy that had the nerve to come up to me at a funeral. I think I told you about this. And he said, oh, hey, this is the guy I was dating for a couple of years. He said, oh, hey. And I said, oh, hi. I said, yeah, I ain't seen you in a while. He started coming real close. And he was trying to act like he wanted to put his arm around my waist and stuff. And I pushed him back. I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I figured, man, you could connect your show looking good. Let me tell you something. That Santa that you know, the one that you knew back then, she dead. So don't you ever, here's my card. You need to call me because I don't think you realize, you want to play? You need to get yourself saved. Because apparently you're not saved. You approach someone you know love God. You know I love God. I guess you think I'm going to play? I'm not going to play. I love God more than anything. And so I challenge you to call me to see if we can get you some sound counsel about that lusting demon that you're still dealing with. Because Sandy is dead. That one you knew, she dead. And that's the problem right now. These people who want to be coming with you, that we'll open these gateways and they come in and be coming, that's because we started it. Remember, nothing is held secret in the eyes of our daddy. That's the reason why we got to make sure that we watch and make sure we realize that we cannot allow these people to become common with us. You got to know that when we position ourselves to allow them to come in and manifest these type of spiritual infections, you can rest assured these shared commonalities, these things that we feel like these characteristics or these attributes that we think that we can use, now they become a thorn. Because now you got to deal with this disloyalty, you got to deal with this disrespect, and you got to deal with this person who will not submit to what God has called you to do as far as leadership is concerned for those that he's put to your hand. Well, I got to go. I pray that this has blessed you. I pray you get on the call tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central and be sure and hear what Apostle Mitchell has to say to us by the Spirit. Just because I've given you this prelude does not necessarily mean that that's what he's talking about, but want to make sure you know that this needs to be shared with a pastor or any leader or mentor, anybody, even those that you are being covered by, as far as submission is concerned, and making sure we understand this last day, God is not playing with us with these false positive gifts. We got to transition, and the only way we're going to be able to do that is making sure that we understand some things may have to be changed, and we may have to reposition the guards. God bless you. Love you. Talk to you tomorrow night.